must have served snacks if everybody's listening.
No, but I get gotcha because I didn't.
I'll bet.
You just paused this, Jim?
Yes, I just.
I think I better start it and restart because I won't be able to take a certain part out.
Okay.
Unless there's no, okay, so I can just, okay.
Mr. Chairman, just a second, let me
move into public.
Yeah, look. I was going to say, just let me know for the record, it's 8:05, and then go ahead, Bob.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to move back into public meeting.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll say.
It's been moved and seconded that we return to public meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Move into old business.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that this board release the confidential letter that we have previously voted not to release.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Cook. Now, these are the letters that we just voted on to bring to here.
No, the only one we voted on was the auditor's letter. That's the only thing I'm asking for. The auditor's letter. The one single auditor's letter.
Okay, and what we voted on in the last meeting was to bring them all here.
No,
still keep them confidential.
That's a different letters. We don't even have possession of all of those yet. I'm talking about only the single confidential letter that this board voted to keep confidential.
Okay, it has been moved by Mr. Cook that 2017 audit letter marked as confidential and delivered to the board be released to the public. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
It has been moved and seconded. Discussion?
Mr. Chairman, we've all reviewed that letter a number of times except for Neil. And I think everybody up here understands that there's no smoking gun in that letter. And I think it would help the public understand some of the problems we're up against because there's so much missing information.
Okay, other discussion?
I don't know where it would benefit anybody when they look at the letter anyhow, personally. And I still think it was confidential at the time. I still think it's stay confidential now. You can still look at it in the office and read it, but I don't know.
Oh, I have a copy.
I don't have a copy of it.
Go ahead with your thought, Harry.
My thought is, you know, we're trying to move on and things are happening, and they're going to happen anyhow, and I think if it'll all come out in the wash when it's all done. It'll all be exposed anyhow, whatever happens, because the investigation's going on. And I still think when you have auditors or somebody says they give you a confidential letter to work on because you have some little problems, we as a board need to take that seriously and keep it confidential because maybe they didn't want it to be exposed. That's just my personal feeling, because you got to build a trust somewhere. And we're not trying to hide anything because we fixed everything that was in the letter, to my knowledge.
My objection is all about integrity. I couldn't tell you what's in the letter. But I called the auditor. He asked, he said, these are kept confidential. I said, is that everybody? He said, in all the years he'd done audits, one board had released one letter. I consider that a matter of integrity that I went ahead and accepted the letter. So that's what I feel about it. Greg, you have a comment?
My only comment is that I've read the letter probably 15 times over. I think there's nothing in there that's of any importance, and it drives me nuts that we're even discussing this. I say just
I'll agree with that.
the letter and be done with it.
Neil, do you have any feelings about it? I don't know enough about it, so no. Okay. All right, it has been.
A couple of words came up there like integrity and so forth. You know, you should have integrity towards us out here as well.
Absolutely.
And when, there's a lot of, put it straight, BS coming from a lot of places on this situation. And I think it's gonna bite this community. Cause you get down the road, some of the arguments that are being thrown about come out. I think there may be action against this board for withholding information. And that would be us having to pay the price for that.
Okay. Other thoughts, community? Okay, we have a motion. We have a second on the floor to release the 2017 letter to the board marked confidential from the auditors. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
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 Motion fails. Any other old business? New business. Jamie's here. Anything else anybody had to say? Could I get a motion to adjourn?
I'd actually like to say something.
Go ahead, sir.
Introduce
Would you
myself,
identify
actually.
yourself? And if you could
that's
come up
okay.
to the podium. So.
Yes, please. My name's Brandon McBee. I'm the owner of Mountain Homes. And I'm building spec homes down here in Colorado City, hoping to improve the community down here. So I'd like to be acknowledged for, just being here tonight. And my question is, there's a lot of signs that are going up for new homes, which I think is a great thing. We're obviously not trying to go against anybody else that's working down here in the valley. It's all good for us, no matter how you look at it, I would believe. I'm in the process of purchasing some new land on Mercantile, and I've heard that the size of my sign is going to be an issue. I've read the covenants, and originally that lot was not zoned as B4, but the covenants, as old as they are, haven't been updated. So I'd like to see that my lot also be acknowledged as the same in the covenants and allow my signs to stay up.
Okay. Do you want to?
I will. First off, we have no power to issue a variance or adjust the covenants in any way.
Okay.
So the covenants stand unless the property owners of that unit band together and with majority vote eliminate them or change them. So
Okay.
the board as a whole, even though we're going to be acting as architectural, has no power for variance.
Okay, so
Going forward with your sign issue, there's a lot of signs that are going to be coming down because previous boards did not appoint an architectural control committee to handle the covenants. This board has taken on, instead of appointing an architectural control committee, under one little section of state law, has taken on the responsibility of the architectural control committee. It's kind of a tricky thing, but the board will, going forward, will be acting as architectural control committee, but we're going to have a review committee to lessen what we have to read. They'll make recommendations to the board, but the board will have final say on whether or not it's covenant, and if it's not covenant, it'll be forwarded to the county.
okay, so as of right now, the county sees it as business property.
That's a county issue that we have no authority over.
So
But county never trumps covenants.
gotcha. So as far as my signage goes, I mean, does the board feel that the type of business that I'm putting forward
We
here?
haven't got the documents to look at your covenants just yet,
Okay.
but I would just recommend that you get your covenant, study them, because it will, as you say, probably come to the board, and just
Right.
make your case to the board. This is what the covenants say,
Certainly.
and that's all we can go by is what the covenants say.
They're very, I've heard 1,000 different opinions how you can change them, but
Right.
basically
Only one
they
unit's
have to
been
be,
changed.
they have to be voted on by the owners. And we've,
Has there been any complaints filed about the signs that are going up? for
In the
new
past,
construction
yes.
homes?
In the past, yes.
In the past, yes. Currently though?
I don't know because I'm not the manager of what all.
I know I've had some concerns with it as being that what's this going up here? And it's out of context of what it is. And it's like I told you, is if you're in that business zone,
Right.
once you have a business there, then you can put the sign with the business. But until there is a building and an operating business, that sign can't be put.
And I think we're in the same position you are with one of our signs.
What sign would that be?
I'm thinking the Holly Dot.
Yeah.
So we're in the same position you are when it comes to, covenants and signage.
Gotcha.
So even the board's got to straighten up their act.
Right, I mean, I see where you're coming from, but when we're down here doing the proper things, I mean, as far as the zone and everything like that, in Pueblo County and other areas across everywhere that I've seen, there's coming soon, they're built to suit. I mean, we're looking at commercial property here, so there's multiple options, whether it ends up being urgent care,
from what I
or an office, or.
Yeah, well, Pueblo County has never worked with us.
Uh,
They've fought us on many things for many years.
Right.
But this board, I believe 2 meetings ago, sent a letter to Pueblo County and, Planning and Development and Regional Building to try to get everybody under the same umbrella so that there's not crosstalk of what you go in and ask a question, they give you a different answer than what they give us sometimes. So we're trying to get everybody to be on the same page.
It's like all your routing slips for all your building to make sure that we're on all of that. And it comes in and you talk to us and we can go through the covenants with you and say, okay, this is acceptable, this isn't. And keep us all on the same page before we sign off.
Gotcha, so at this point in time, does anybody here have a problem with my sign from the people or from the board that I have up right now? And I would also be willing to additionally put a sign up to help for the vote, to bring attention to it on the same banner. I would pay for it out of pocket. I mean, you guys got quite a few things coming up. You have to have it on private property or so on and so forth.
Even if we didn't have a problem with the sign, we've got a responsibility to the covenant.
Right.
It's sort of like a police officer may not have a problem with you doing 80, but he has a responsibility to write the ticket.
But if you don't have any say-so, and you're still in the
Well, we
process of
do.
trying to get it figured out
We
between
do,
local
we have to
counties,
say so now.
you have to say so, but the covenants are actually written and it shows that business property in that unit fall back to Pueblo County zoning. This is now Pueblo County's problem then by reading the covenant, if I'm not
If
mistaken.
it's, well, I can explain more after the meeting.
Okay,
Thank you for introducing yourself.
thank you, appreciate it.
Anyone else have any comments, thoughts? Could I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second? I'll be second. Meeting adjourned.